On February 3, 2026, the United States Environmental Protection Agency issued a mandatory data collection request to the 14 largest diesel engine manufacturers in America. Under Section 208 of the Clean Air Act, the EPA demanded internal warranty claim data and engine failure rates on diesel exhaust fluid system components. The stated reason, in the EPA's own words, was to independently evaluate what the agency called ongoing system failures, not a routine audit, not a standard review. The federal government is demanding to know why the emission systems it mandated for every diesel truck built since 2010 are failing at rates that are stranding farmers, truckers, and equipment operators across the country. And then, on March 27, 2026, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin announced that fixing just one of those failing components would save American diesel truck operators $13 billion annually. $13 billion in repair costs and lost productivity from a single sensor. These are systems the government required every diesel truck builder to install. That is where the hidden cost of clean truck technology actually stands. Today, we are going to show you exactly what those systems cost you, what the federal government has now admitted about them, and what the January 2026 DOJ directive means for every diesel truck owner in America. Here is what was mandated and why it fails. Since 2010, every on-road diesel truck in the United States has been required to run 3 interconnected emission systems. One of those systems is the exhaust gas recirculation system, which routes a portion of exhaust gas back into the engine intake to lower combustion temperatures and reduce nitrogen oxide emissions. The diesel particulate filter traps soot particles from diesel exhaust and periodically burns them off in a process called regeneration. The selective catalytic reduction system injects diesel exhaust fluid, a urea solution in a blue bottle, into the exhaust stream to convert remaining nitrogen oxides into nitrogen and water. 3 separate systems, each with its own sensors, pumps, injectors, and control modules. All of them run simultaneously on every diesel truck built in the last 15 years. The EPA mandated them. The EPA now admits they fail. The repair bills are documented. Start with the exhaust gas recirculation system. The exhaust gases routed back through the exhaust gas recirculation system are not clean. They carry soot and carbon particulate directly into the engine intake manifold and onto the intake valves. Over time, that carbon restricts airflow, reduces power, and increases operating temperatures. When the exhaust gas recirculation cooler fails, a documented failure mode on the 6.7 Power Stroke, the 6.6 Duramax, and the 6.7 Cummins coolant leaks into the cylinders. That is a catastrophic failure requiring a full engine rebuild in severe cases. An original equipment manufacturer exhaust gas recirculation cooler replacement costs between $800 and $1,500. On engines where it fails every 50,000 to 80,000 miles, that is a recurring cost paid by the owner for complying with a federal mandate. The diesel particulate filter, DPF, compounds the problem. The regeneration cycle that burns off accumulated soot injects excess fuel into the exhaust stream at extreme temperatures. Every active regeneration cycle reduces fuel economy by an estimated 20% for the duration of the cycle. Over 20,000 miles of annual driving, that fuel burn amounts to $800 to $1,200 in additional fuel cost per year. When the filter becomes too clogged for regeneration to clear it, and it eventually will, the replacement cost runs between $2,000 and $5,500 depending on the platform. On a truck, already paid for a filter the government required. And now the component, the EPA itself called out publicly, the urea quality sensor inside the diesel exhaust fluid system. The Engine Manufacturers Association told the EPA directly that UQS units are now among the highest failure rate components in modern selective catalytic reduction systems. When a UQS sensor sends a faulty reading, the truck's control module initiates a derate. Under the system as originally designed, the final derate stage limits the truck to 25 miles per hour. A fully functional truck with a full tank of diesel with a full DEF reservoir limited to 25 miles per hour on a public highway because a sensor that costs under $100 told the computer the DEF was contaminated. farmers stranded in fields during harvest. Owner-operators pulled off the highway mid-delivery. Equipment operators locked out of their own machines. In August 2025, EPA Administrator Zeldin issued new guidance instructing manufacturers to stop issuing D-rates for what the EPA called inaccurate DEF system failures in 2026, on systems the same government mandated in 2010. On March 27, 2026, the EPA went further. The agency issued guidance removing the urea quality sensor requirement entirely, directing manufacturers to switch to NOx sensors that measure actual exhaust output rather than estimating it from fluid quality. The EPA stated the savings from eliminating this single sensor are $13 billion annually in repairs and lost productivity across the American diesel fleet. That number did not come from a lobbying group. That number came from the EPA press release. $13 billion. Spent by truck owners every year on a system that the agency now admits generates failures that do not reflect actual emissions performance. And then the Department of Justice added its own statement. On January 21, 2026, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche issued a directive instructing federal prosecutors to stop pursuing criminal cases against individuals who sell, distribute, manufacture, or install defeat devices on diesel trucks. The criminal enforcement of emissions delete prosecutions was effectively suspended by the Department of Justice, not because deletes became legal. The Clean Air Act has not changed. Because the administration explicitly deprioritized criminal prosecution of the people selling these systems to truck owners who are trapped by hardware, the government now openly acknowledges is failing at a rate that costs the American fleet $13 billion a year. You might think the emission systems on your truck are protecting the environment. The EPA's own press release tells you the primary sensor driving deratements has been generating inaccurate failures. The same agency that mandated the system is now paying manufacturers to remove one of its core components. Smart diesel truck owners are doing two things right now. They are contacting their truck's manufacturer to request the DEF software update called for in the EPA guidance from August 2025. That update is available at no cost for model year 2026 and older trucks, and is designed to reduce or eliminate derate events caused by sensor inaccuracies while the transition to NOx-based monitoring proceeds. And they are documenting every emissions system repair on any truck within a valid powertrain warranty. If the EPA proceeds with a formal recall action under Section 208 of the Clean Air Act, documented repair history positions owners to participate in any remediation program the agency forces manufacturers to provide. The government mandated these systems. The government collected the failure data. The government announced $13 billion in annual costs. And the government suspended criminal prosecution of the people building alternatives. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is a chain of dated federal press releases from the EPA and the Department of Justice. The hidden cost was never hidden from the manufacturers. It was hidden from you. Have you been stranded by a DEF derate or hit with an EGR cooler or DPF repair bill on a truck still under 200,000 miles? Sound off in the comments below. Your repair invoice is the documentation the EPA was looking for when it sent that mandatory data request in February 2026. If you refuse to keep paying for a system the federal government just admitted costs the American fleet $13 billion a year to maintain, hit the subscribe button and join the resistance. Keep the old iron running. Keep turning your own wrenches. And we will see you in the next one.